Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What is up, everyone? And it has happened. The second part of the finale, 40 Several, has ended, and we have Mama Vanquish herself for the finale to come here. How's it going, Kristen?
It's going. It's going.
It is going. Yeah, so I mean, you've been on our channel a few times, but to the people but you're a first time coming on for a review of a episode. So why don't you introduce yourself to the people who may not know who you are?
Okay, well, I'm Kristin, aka Mama Vanquish. So if you're like, what is Vanquish? It's Vanquish online reality games. We host Survivor, Big Brother. We're gonna be introducing a lot of new things in 2025, but they're all online and we raise money for Make-A-Wish, so it's a great game to play. We've had actual players play and say it's very similar to being out on the island full of all those emotions. So come check us out. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Mom, boring.
Mhm.
That's me.
Yes, they are casting for a new season of Survivor, so we have to include that. Apply. You can
Yes.
be amongst,
Yep.
the greats. The
Yeah,
greats. You get
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
They,
gonna be a really good season. I'm really excited. I don't think people are gonna expect the twist of the season, and so it's really exciting. I'm excited for the season.
yeah, definitely. I'm already speculating. It's called Fire Starters, which this is a fun little name there. So I'm definitely excited. It's fun to play, but also fun to watch. If you wanna see
Yeah,
maybe a Vanquish season first, definitely maybe get into it and then start applying because
VIP.
it's yeah,
Yeah, the VIP
VIP.
is great. Yeah, you really get everybody's confessionals, really kind of listen to what they're, talking about and how they're feeling in the game and stuff. So that's a great way if you're new and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm ready to bite the bullet just yet. Join VIP, watch the episodes, and it's a lot of fun. You get to live interact, chat like the episodes are live, so you get to chat with other people that are watching. So it's a lot of fun.
Yes, and you can try
Mhm.
to win the game, something that Ryan and I could not do. So, definitely.
I came close. I came close. I've been doing good recently. I came close in Big Brother, but
Yeah.
people don't.
Close
Uh,
only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades,
If you're
unfortunately.
not
So,
first, you're last, as
that's
yeah.
not true.
Ricky Bobby
There's a
would
reason
say.
why we have Fallen Angel, First Boots, fan favorites, etc., etc. Especially the further you make it, the more screen time you get. And screen time, as we know, is important.
Is it?
It is very important. Kristen, you had some of the best screen time in one of our games. Um,
Did I? I sat in a room.
you sat in the room, but you sat
Yeah.
like a queen in
Listen,
that room.
if there was like confessionals that would have been happening throughout the season, like you would have been at least top two of the season in terms of confessionals. Like that's
That was fun. I was just talking about it to somebody the other night. I can't remember, and I'm like, I don't know how I like stayed around and like made actual decisions. So it was kind of it was just fun.
It's all good.
definitely,
Uh,
definitely. Well, let's get into this episode. I think it went pretty much how everyone was expecting here with a Rachel
yeah.
W, the victory lap. Um so what are your guys' thoughts on Rachel? Because it's so interesting because I think she played an amazing game. But there are like certain flaws that I know people are going to pick to death that is going to like knock her down in terms of like they mentioned, like the Ben Drebergen and Mike Holloway, having
Yeah.
the crazy challenge wins, and that's the kind of like what they're known for. I feel like Rachel's got a pretty similar situation because she wasn't able to get taken out, and it was like final nine was the last chance.
Majority of the game, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, what are your thoughts on Rachel as a winner?
Um,
Me first,
yeah, I'll
right?
let you go first.
Okay, so I will definitely give kudos where kudos are given because I believe in Survivor. You don't not win for a reason. I am also I view my winner of what I would pick as a winner very differently than a lot. One key part that I find very like probably a big thing that we didn't hear discussed. I mean, granted, we only see a little bit of an edit, is unless Soul saves her specifically in that one night,
Yeah,
she's gone. And then of course finding an idol, she's gone that night too. So, but more specifically, that Soul giving that away.
yeah,
So she should have been out. So I kind of look at that as a winner of like Sam, for instance, like Sam was always kind of alienated on the bottom. He had his name out, his name written down, but he was able to, like, yeah, he didn't like get squeaky clean it by any means, but he was able to
Mhm.
get the majority off of him. And I think
Mhm.
that that's very impressive. He had more of an under the radar type of game. She had a more in your face game. And those
Mhm.
are harder, those under the radar games are harder to present and get a winning game from. So I mean, like I said, giving kudos to where she is. I mean, she tied for the record for women in immunity. She had idols and advantages.
Mhm.
So I mean, she did the dang thing. So I can't fault her for that. But I definitely, like I said, I view a winner in a little bit differently in my book.
Yeah, I feel like Sam definitely had an argument at the end. I feel like, and yes, well, I mean, like with any of these games, there's always going to be an element of RNG, whether it's who you're cast with, tribe chemistry in the beginning, who has an idol, whether it's you or someone else. I feel like there's always going to be those things. I feel like if Soul didn't have a good interaction with Rachel, maybe he doesn't give her that thing. If
Yeah.
there's always going to be things of like, and this is someone who strives on plot armor in games, but like there's always going to be that element. And the thing is, it was like with Rachel too. I think it's also like flashy games. I always enjoy because like if we're looking at the story of it too, like because when she when Annika left, it did seem like she was on bottom, and then people were like throwing her name out to be eliminated after Rome, the easy vote was gone. And it was something where, she stepped up, and stepping up can mean a lot of different things. I do think she has the social game and stuff like that as well. I feel like, and like, she didn't go out there to be the challenge beast. A part of her had to become the challenge beast because she had so much going
Yeah.
against her. Like, a lot of people were coming after her, especially once Kyle was gone. But like, it's more so like I think overall the game and the story, like I think that's another thing I look forward to. It's like what is the in a winner? It's like what is their story? What is their mark on this season? And are they a good representation for the season? And I
Mhm.
feel like, someone who kept fighting, someone who also is straight up just a well-rounded contestant where she was strategic, she was social, and she was a challenge beast. I feel like all three of those elements are present in her. It's just like I feel like some people might be like, oh, she was like safe for a lot of it, might be in the prominent forefront of some people's minds.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that if she plays for season 50, she is absolutely going to get targeted because of how this game went. Because I definitely like it's great she wins 4 immunities, but I could like if you put her onto another season with a lot of other challenge beasts that's are in it, like I think that they're gonna probably most likely still be like favorites, even though she's got 4 immunities here. And just in general, I just feel like who would let Rachel get out of the pre-merge even of a season now? Like if their try loses, absolutely getting targeted. So I feel like if they're casting for season 50, maybe don't go for Rachel now. Let her be for like season 60. Like let people forget about her a little bit, and then she can come kind of back and be under the radar, and then suddenly try to do this again. Maybe she can be a two-time winner if she goes for season 60. But yeah, I don't think she'll be necessarily someone that they'll that can really do good in season 50 coming up here because she's going to be on everyone's minds of winners.
yeah, I can see that definitely.
Yeah.
Um, oh, speaking of which, so Kristen, at the beginning of this season, Joe and I had a draft. We always start this off. And Joe hired Rome. Rome was his winner pick. I was gonna choose Rome because like the nerd thing. This was preseason stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
what are
So
you
we
doing?
didn't know how they were. So
Yeah.
he hired Rome through a cameo to roast me.
It's a funny
And
cameo.
Love
so
it.
it is. I was just chilling before work, and then I opened this up and I saw this, and I'm like, I never felt so attacked. And that says a lot because you've seen me get attacked in these games before. But and the thing is, we had our draft 10 out of, or like Not basically, he lost 6 people in a row from John all the way to Rome. He got one break with Tiana, and then the next 3 in a row he lost. So
Yeah.
final 8 onwards were all people I drafted.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
historically bad. I felt bad for Ryan. He's had the short end of the stick for a while, so
In a lot of
I'll take it on a little bit. I'll take on the ha-has. And
I mean, I will say, I mean, I used to like pride myself on picking the winner, and I would pick them before, like I wouldn't watch it like back when it was thing we didn't have like their intros and stuff beforehand. I always picked from the very first episode, and I would pick before the challenge, the very first challenge. And I had only picked wrong 5 times out of 40. And then New Era hit, and I've been bad. Like
yeah.
very bad. I did pick Erica and Marianne. But after that, it was like, and Erica was just like, she seemed so out of the like woodwork that I'm like, this girl's probably gonna win. And it wasn't like strategically thinking she's gonna win. It was more of just like a Hail Mary, and it worked.
Mhm.
Marianne, kind of the same thing. But after that, I've not been able to pick the winner at all. And so it's kind of crazy that New Era has just like destroyed my record. But
Yeah.
it's fine.
I mean,
Fine.
I think that makes sense when we did our 39 and 40 drafts. The first person picked was the winner of that season. Ryan picked Tommy Sheehan in 39 preseason, and I picked Tony Vlachos for winners at War preseason as our first picks. And then yeah, when he gets the New Era, yeah, I mean it's like all over the place
Yeah.
of things. Rachel was the last person picked in our draft.
Yeah.
To be fair,
No,
this is I
I
won
gave Rachel to Ryan.
twice. I won twice in the New Era because Joe just didn't pick the one person.
Yeah, it's pretty
Well, what's
unfortunate.
crazy though is like, I mean, I don't pick all of them. Like, I don't rank them or
Mhm,
anything. I only pick 5, but I flat out say who the winner pick is. And
mhm.
then I
Yeah.
have 5 others that are kind of my like, well, hopefully, but I'll still lose because I put my whole everything into the one. My winner pick was Genevieve. I think she would have hands down took the season very easily had they not taken her out. Uh,
Yeah.
but then it's funny, my other 4 were all jury or finalists. I had Sam, he was my fifth pick. So good for Sam. And then I had Teeny taken out at fire. And then I had Sierra and I had Kyle. So I mean they all did very well for themselves. So at least there's
Oh yeah.
something still in my brain clicking,
Yeah.
but just not with the winner.
Yeah, I just think that this season would be way better if the pre-merge people actually made it further and made it to the end. Actually, I think we just like
Joe
swapped
just can't
the food
accept that
order.
he says that he's okay with me winning, but he deep down can't accept the fact.
It's
Um,
not like I'm the most competitive person I know. Like it's not. It has nothing to do with that.
no, 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 no. I mean, I'm healthy competitive.
Yeah.
But no, no. I think we're all competitive to some capacity. But
Yeah.
no, I feel like with this season, I mean, the finale, I'll admit, is very straightforward. Like, I feel like this finale could be discussed in 30 minutes, I'll be real. But I think overall this season has been amazing. I think it leading up to this I still am like, and especially like because it's in 2 parts, it definitely felt like this one was kind of like, oh, well, once Genevieve was gone, it's pretty obviously Rachel can easily make her way to the end. But this finale wasn't without its, like, I would say, surprises. Like,
Mhm.
I will say the fire making challenge, it looked super, super bad for Sam. And then I was watching with Matt because we were at a viewing party, and then he's like, "Hey, why don't they just put all the husk on right now? Just Hail Mary, go,
Yeah.
go for broke." And Sam did that, and he ended up winning
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that situation.
I
Yeah.
think that is the star of this finale. It's not
Yeah.
Rachel winning. It's that fire making moment was the star of the finale. I mean, never before seen anything like it. It was, I mean, I at one point because it was just after he had lost the immunity, and you'd seen it time and time again with Sam throughout the season, is that he's so like he's there and then he blows it for himself and he loses like every time that he
Yeah.
even has a shot. And I remember saying it in the fire making, I was like, well, typical Sam. He's of course will lose it for himself. And then out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh my, and then the wind's blowing. I mean, I was on
Yeah.
the edge of my seat, like
Teeny got screwed so
it
bad
was
with that
Yeah.
wind.
you know what? If you go back and look at fire making,
Yeah.
since fire making was a thing,
Yeah.
that seat has more losers than winners.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Damn.
it makes sense. Like, I was going in my brain too, like thinking, I was like, I definitely remember Sam's seat winning. I kept kind of like checking off a lot of people there. So yeah, I mean, it's, uh,
I mean, it's been done, but more oftentimes than not, that seat is like the death sentence.
yeah. So if you
Yeah.
want better odds, and you're in fire making, like say, hey, no, you go over there. I'm
Yeah.
taking this seat. This has like a 60% chance of winning compared to that
Right. Right.
one.
Well, I mean, and you think about it too, like
Yeah.
even with
Yeah.
win, of course, like that person's gonna block. I mean, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
any of that's gonna happen. But yeah, no, I mean, edge of my seat, it was, I mean, I was like, this is crazy. It was something that was one of the things that I did not like about Rachel there is because Sam is a fantastic talker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he can definitely persuade a jury here. And I felt like that was kind of like, I know what she said, like, I don't feel like I have to prove anything anymore. And she did not. She most certainly did not. But it was like, for you to like, hands down in the bag, she should have jumped in there knowing that Teeny was not comfortable at all.
I
Yeah.
feel it's always a thing of like, why gamble? I feel like, I mean, like for us, we're orgers. We can take those risks because there's always going to be another org.
Oh,
It's
100%.
totally different when, you're out on there.
100%.
And I feel like she already has the resume. She already has receipts and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, like Sam was able to like, creep through. And part of that was because of Project Italy. But it was also like, it was like, all right, well, Andy has kind of been, we might have to get Andy out. And then like, all right,
Yeah.
Genevieve. And then like, it was just like kind of like how Sam was like, well, there was never really a time to get rid of Rachel, or he never was able to get rid of Rachel.
Right.
Mhm.
For like Rachel, Sam, there was never like Sam was never like in that ideal spot of like, all right, now's the time to get rid of Sam, which I think was another thing. Maybe Sam could have like elevated more. I was like, well, like I've been a big threat and like there was always opportunities, but you didn't take me out. But like I feel like that is a notion for Sam was like there was never that opportunity. So it was like, all right, better hope and pray, help Teeny, and hopefully she's able to make fire in time and that they win. Or, just not include Sam in fire so he doesn't have that resume. So it's like out of the options, I think, Rachel chose the best one.
Yeah, I think especially with Rachel sending Andy and Genevieve to the jury just before that, I think that they're going to obviously go there and spread the amazingness of Rachel's game to the jury. I think that it
Yeah.
became very clear, like the challenges as well. I think she just needs to sit there against anyone. Like it almost doesn't matter. I think Sam gave us about the best dang final tribal council performance that he possibly could give us. Like
Yeah.
it was way better than Rachel's. Rachel's actually was like kind of not great. Like I think some people were getting a little pissed off with some of the answers that she was kind of given, but it just didn't matter. Like the resume and the receipts that Rachel had just accrued through the game just kind of did it was everything that the jury needed. Like they didn't really need to suddenly now change their vote because Sam just kind of spoke the game a little better.
See, and that's where if I'm sitting there as Soul over there in my little vest and looking all fine like he is, I'd be like, hey, how about those receipts of you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me? Like that's where like you're starting to, because if you're at Final Tribal Council, you need to answer for those things, every single thing. And I would have definitely pointed that out because I don't know how much of the jury, like if they knew that or you know what I mean? Like this is a time to I'm gonna point out a flaw in her game and how well is she gonna recover to prove to us that she is the winner, right? You know what I mean? So these are the things that I look at from a jury aspect is if you are dead set the best of the best and deserve that winning title, like you'll be able to handle those hard questions that are thrown at you, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, I just feel like, again, I think that Rachel, hands down, it was easy. Like you knew that going in that she was
Yeah.
winning this game. And so I think Sam definitely gave her a run for his money. I was surprised that he only got one vote. I thought it would be a
Yeah.
little bit closer. Um,
Yeah,
just
I was
because
thinking it
he
was
was
at
very
least
well
going to be
spoken
2.
in finals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I just think that this is a thing of the new era. We've seen it a lot. That they just decide who the winner is, and they have a friend of the person they think should be second place, and they have that person vote there, and they essentially decide who wins a
Yeah.
million and who wins 100K.
Yeah. No,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
No, for sure.
Well, but I'm surprised it was not Sierra was not the one to vote for
Yeah.
Sam. I thought that Sierra was like locked, like no way that she's just gonna vote for anyone else. But no,
And see,
it
I
ends up being
respect Sierra
Kyle.
more for that though.
Yeah,
Like, not to interrupt you, but like I really
yeah,
respect Sierra a lot for that because I hate when a jury, like especially from hosting now too, and I can't imagine what Jeff feels like when you have these jury members that are like, there's no way I'm voting for that person. They did me dirty. Like, you know what I mean? They got me out of the game. For Sierra to go in there as locked in as she is on Sam,
hmm
that she's able to listen to the receipts that Rachel brought and was like, you know what, she is the rightful winner. You know what I mean? So I have to give a
hmm
lot of kudos to Sierra there.
Yeah, definitely. And I was I've said on previous podcasts, I thought Kyle was a lot for voting for Rachel because I think he would respect the challenges.
Yeah.
Like a lot of challenge beasts usually end up voting for the person who ends up, winning the challenges, especially the person who takes them out in a challenge. So for him to be the one to kind of go over there, I mean, I guess their bromance just must have been,
Yeah.
way better than we saw on screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I did find that a little out of left field
Mhm.
when he said that, especially because they weren't on starting tribes either. So it did kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, there was like that little moment where they were the trio of Sam, Kyle, and Genevieve that was there for like an episode,
Yeah.
but
That's what a rock solid trio that was, though.
I know, right? I mean, two of them made it pretty far, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, Sam, I think he played like a decent game. It was just he was up against someone who just
Yeah.
had this
Had it in
crazy
that,
resume.
for
Yeah,
sure.
it was already kind of set in stone. Sue, no surprise to anyone, 0 vote finalist. I think everyone assumed that this was where she was going to land on the season.
Yeah.
It's so funny because literally as you were wrapping up that thought, I was like, oh, we need to bring up Sue. We're forgetting about her like the jury did. Like,
Yeah.
Well, no,
but
no, no. I'd
what's
love to go ahead. Go
no, I
ahead.
was just gonna say, I mean, her one like bombshell moment was so just cringe because no one cared. The one
Yeah.
reaction that we get is from
They
Sam.
didn't.
You
Yeah.
can just tell it's so over the top that he did it just to like give her something because everybody's all like,
Yeah.
we knew, lady.
The edit didn't show too many of the jury's faces when she did do that. I think to kind of like not drag Sue under, like not to make her feel like it's like so bad with the edit of like no one bought it, but like we didn't even really see the jury's reaction. The one we did, it was like minimal at best.
I saw
Like,
Sam's reaction
yeah,
the
no one,
most.
That's what I'm saying. It was so over
yeah,
the top. You could tell he
but
was just doing that to give her because nobody
Yeah.
reacts like that normally when you're absolutely shocked. Like his was so
Yeah.
like over the top that you're like, he did that for Sue to
Yeah.
have a moment.
Yeah.
no,
I mean, I was
um,
excited that
which
we
is
finally got that because, the Sammy in 43 like had that whole thing about how he was actually 19, and I wanted him to get to the end and have that
Right.
bombshell drop that no one cares about. So I was
Right.
like, at least we now
yeah,
got it here with Sue.
Yeah. Yeah.
that
I
we
mean,
did.
I think
Uh,
the thing is though that like because I mean, granted, we are getting longer episodes now, so we're getting to know these people a little bit better. But here's
Mhm.
the problem with these longer episodes is yes, we're getting to get to know them more on a personal level and their stories, which is great. I want to see more strategy time and like why like perfect example for me is like in 41 Heather. People were like in this show they were like we got to get Heather out. We got to get like they were Heather was the constant topic of conversation and all of us fans are
yes,
like Heather's doing nothing. Like why are you so worried about Heather? We obviously are missing something because they're talking about her being a threat. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
we want to see why these people you know what I mean, are here for that reason. So like we need to see more of
Yeah.
this in it. So I mean, who knows? Poor Sue. She probably had more out there, and we just didn't see it, and the edits
Yeah.
didn't show it. And she's gonna write a whole book about how she contoured with her
Yeah.
stash
Yeah.
and how she was a beast. Like, let's go, Sue.
Yeah, I think it's also
There
just
was
like when someone's a zero vote finalist, I think they just kind of want to not give them the best edit because otherwise it might be confusing. Like, I mean, Caroline made it to the end and got 0 votes, but also like a lot of people were like, upset that she got 0 votes and she should have probably gotten more. So, it's
I agree with
one of
that.
those things.
I'd say it's tough because like sometimes you get someone who is likable or like a character like Carolyn who was just like someone where everyone just really I would say most people clicked with watching that season. Um on the same vein, Caroline this season, like I know a lot of people were saying that like Caroline was playing such a great game and stuff like that, but like she was one of the most underedited people in
Mhm.
that made it to the jury phase of the game. And Project Italy, while iconic and like crazy how that all came together, the fact that it was Caroline that went out during that phase when it could have been someone else might have been a little confusing to some people. And I feel like I do think, yeah, Kristen, you make like a solid point where maybe if we see more of like their gameplay, the personal moments are fun, but like maybe in the sense of like, oh, okay, like making sure like everyone seems like a threat in this game at definitely at a certain point. Makes their elimination satisfying and also being like, okay, we really see the merit of the game. Whereas, like, some people only just say because, like, 20 or not, yeah, we could technically say 20 years from now because 20 years ago, Survivor was on. But, like, people aren't going to remember what people were talking about during that time. People are going to remember what the show gave us.
Yeah.
First off, Operation Italy, not Project Italy.
Fuck! I've always called it something
Call
different.
yourself a Survivor fan. I was just gonna let him go, Joe, but you do
I
you.
called it
Yeah,
the Italian job.
I'm his podcast host, so I can call him out. Like,
You do. You call it out.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Kristen, you
Yeah.
make fun of me too. It's fine.
I do. I mean, I make fun of you in my own right, so I'll let Joe have
Yeah.
this moment.
Yeah, and then I mean, I think it's a tough balance because I think obviously as like we're hardcore Survivor fans, we love watching the show, we love the strategy. That's why we play these online games as well. I also know casual fans have so much trouble understanding strategy talks and understanding what was happening. I watched with some like casual, like they just got into Survivor fans, and Operation Italy for two of them, they didn't understand what was happening. It was so complex that like they kind of like turned their brains off because they just they like they just couldn't compute. So it's one of those weird things where it's like you got to kind of like give enough strategy here for the hardcore fans, but you also got to kind of give the personal life stuff for the casual fans, and then the challenges also for the casual fans, and then the advantages for the hardcore fans. Like there's all these like kind of
That's
like
fair.
things that are kind of balanced in each season, and I mean I think with almost any game, it's really hard to like properly fine tune its like the perfect elements every time, especially with a game like Survivor, where you don't know what's going to happen until the season is essentially done. Then you have to figure out the whole editing tricks and what the season's narrative is. So
Yeah.
it is definitely one of those things where it sucks when like some people go out there and they get less confessionals than Rome, but they managed to get to seventh place, like Caroline.
Yeah.
No, we
Um,
have this ongoing joke on our channel, and it's inspired from last season of like, did you get more confessionals than Banu?
yeah,
That is like the
Anybody?
yeah.
that is like the
The
standard
Banu
that we
bar. You gotta try to
the Banu bar as
crack
we
the Banu bar.
yeah. Are you getting if you get more confessionals than Banu, you're doing okay. If you have less than Banu, especially if you made it further than Banu,
Yeah.
something is wrong.
Oh gosh, I do not miss that one.
He's coming back for season 50 and
No,
gonna
he
win
is.
a
Dear
million.
God, please, like I'm putting it out in the universe. Please, dear God, no. I just want to be loved by America. Well, you failed.
Jelensky and Q
Zelensky,
for
Q,
50.
Venus. Let's just bring 46 back. Let's just repeat that
I'm good.
scene.
I mean, we can not. It's fine.
No.
Okay. Well, let's talk here about Teeny here. Teeny going out, her game going up in smoke just like her bag did earlier in
Yeah.
the season. Very poetic. I said I believe last week, but I feel like that's kind of where we're headed is the potential Teeny going out at fire there. Ends up happening. And what are your thoughts on Teeny? Because I feel like Teeny is so polarizing in the sense that like at the beginning they were like this hero. I think everyone's rooting for them, and then like they kind of like turned into a villain in the last few episodes where they were like mocking Sam openly and like having all these kind of like moments of kind of like lashing out. So what are your thoughts on Teeny, Kristen?
So I love Teeny. I absolutely adore Teeny. Seeing the fans sit there and say, like, this girl doesn't know what game she's on. And I'm like, here's the fun fact about Teeny. Teeny is like one of us. She
Yes.
has played and practiced. And I think a lot of that shows in Teeny's game because especially when you can play these games several times, you're looking at every different scenario. You're seeing,
Mhm.
okay, is this person lying to me? Okay, if they are lying to me, this is A, B, C, D, E is happening. If they're lying to me, they're not lying to me. A, B, C, D, E is happening over here. And what's going to happen to me in each of these situations? So I think where people didn't really understand Teeny, us as LRG and org people can understand
Yeah.
the Teeny brain because we do that playing these games. And so I absolutely adore Teeny. I think did Teeny have a shot at winning? No, not in hell. Love her for it, but Teeny was one of those people that she kind of was like a bright light in this season, if you will, that you kind of just kept rooting for because
Yeah.
it's like this will be us on the screen. Like we want people saying we have no idea what's going on in the game. So I love Teeny.
I feel like with Teeny, I also, as soon as I saw they were an org or an LRG, I was like, like obviously like became a favorite of mine immediately. I feel like this game, like early was able to like kind of work with Rome and stuff like that. I feel like sometimes you know how like Rachel, a lot of things worked for her in the game. I feel like for Teeny, a lot of things worked against them in this game. Like in the sense of like, all right, losing Keyshawn early on in this game, not being able to get Rome at the very, very early start of it when, they wanted to work with like Asia, like right from the get-go, like there was that bond. Because Asia is on Rob has a podcast. So like, and then when it came to the merge, the narrative definitely shifted away from her. Um, and that can be tough too, because like, and I've seen enough games and I've played enough games to know like, or at least see like main character edits of like, all right, who's a main character? And Teeny in this one was always there, and we heard her opinion and stuff like that, but like this one she never got to shine as like a main character in this one. And sometimes I don't even think that's the fault of the player. Even I think it's just more so of like everything going on around. Like sometimes it doesn't work out where you're in the main front of the narrative. I think Teeny did have a decent enough social game to make it far and to like still like have open doors with like Genevieve after the soul vote, etc. I feel like she played a pretty decent game. It was just that she, especially near the end, there were just like bigger names that like were more flashier and had a little bit more resume than Teeny was able to acquire. And I don't even think it was Teeny's fault, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see Teeny play maybe in like 5 years also. I think that when they get kind of like more life experience, I do think that they'll become a very good Survivor player and be able to, go out there and I think that there's definitely just a little bit of like I think Teeny wanted to trust people on the
Yeah.
season a lot. And it just turned out that this was not a season full of trustworthy people. There was a lot of people looking to backstab on this specific season of Survivor, which is
Yeah.
another one of those things like this just I think might not have been the cast for Teeny to like
Right.
actually play and like win the
Yeah.
game, because a
100%.
lot of people were wanting to make big moves. It kind of reminds me almost of her game reminds me a bit of Jake O'Kane almost from 45 in that
Yeah.
Yes.
nothing is going their way, and
Yeah.
they're saying things that are best for their game sometimes, but no one is going to actually like follow
Yeah.
through with it.
Yeah.
So and I think Jake also, if Jake comes back to play, I think it could be a very good
Absolutely.
Survivor player. So I
Agreed.
think Teeny could do another thing. I would just say like maybe give it like 5 years or so, and then we can see like what Teeny is evolved into, and I think we'll see probably a much savvier player.
We'll get her on Vanquish. I'll
Yeah.
teach her my villainous
Hell
ways.
yeah.
Be
No,
good.
no,
She's
no,
good
no.
to
You gotta
go.
be heroes all the way.
No, villains
No,
are more
she
fun.
needs a little. She needs a little villain in her blood, and I'm happy to help.
Teeny was
No, no,
showing some of
no.
that villain side. So it
But
was.
she's showing it to
It's
just
okay
one
to have
specific
Yeah.
emotion.
person.
It's okay to have emotion, but
No,
being hero
listen.
is the best way.
It's also super funny that two Orgers are now fallen angels of the last back-to-back season because Liz
Yeah,
Wilcox is also.
I
Yeah.
know.
So
Hey,
I
uh,
got
I'm still throwing it out there. And if Liz ever sees this, she could correct me. But I found Liz before Jeff Probst. I'm just throwing it out there.
yeah. uh, nice, nice. Anything else to say about this finale episode? I feel like for the most part it was pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Besides fire making and final tribal,
I really hated that they broke this into two parts.
Agreed.
100%.
Especially because it was so just like blah and
Basically
boring
Yeah,
that.
here at the end. My like
yeah,
literally, like I said, the fire making is the star of
Mhm.
this finale, not the actual finale. Um, so I think that I hope Jeff Probst maybe learns from that.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I feel like we can bring up here because I know a lot of fans have opinions on this, the reunion in Fiji. Listen, I
yeah,
hear Jeff, I heard what he said. I understand that he wants to hear it raw and not like filtered because you heard what fans say.
Mhm.
I'm getting that. Like, okay, Jeff, I totally respect that. Yes, have your meeting there. Don't announce the winner there. Like, let's just, okay, I've collected the votes. Let's sit down. Let's have some pizza and champagne. Let's talk about this season raw, how it is. I'll see you in LA for a live reunion and reading of the votes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about how you guys feel about that. Like there can be
I would
two.
like I would like that too.
yeah.
I was watching it. Fair Play was holding a little watch party, and Fair Play was like, "No, you're just too cheap to flow people out." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, they do have a watch party for it now. It also happens in LA, but like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it." I feel like that would be the healthy balance, Kristen, is to have like because I feel like the hindsight of it all, especially because you don't know all the information when you play these games
Yeah.
too. Like there is still like information that and you learn that like in the moment at that finale, but like sometimes that finale you're just like talking stuff and you're kind of like getting reunited, so it's not all
Yeah.
about like oh this and this, but like we've been there where we've kind of had answers or that we wanted at the end of games and being like oh this and that's not always on the forefront of your mind when you're at that reunion. But after time
Yeah.
has passed, and especially like then the editors and or like people know, and Jeff will know like questions that they had, or like the audience reception, like like Philip and like the secret agent thing, and
Yeah.
like how they
Yeah.
had someone that worked with Philip. Like I feel like those moments too at a reunion where you can have some of their loved ones there as well,
Yeah.
especially because we don't have loved ones anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
I think the other thing to it as well is that in those live reunions, yes, they talk to the jury and stuff at one point, but then they bring out the entire cast, even pre-jury.
Yeah.
And so like that's
yes,
where you have this moment with this on the island. I get it. Like I love hearing kind of raw emotions after that. But I promise you, Jeff Probst, if I get on Fiji and I'm sitting in final three and then I win or don't win, and I'm sitting there smelly and gross next to all these beautiful people that smell amazing, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna need a shower at least. Like, we have to do this. So yeah,
Yeah.
I also feel like, again, like, you're sitting there with the winner and like you're having this great moment. Like, they're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Can I get a cheese? Like, this flimsy ass pizza. Get me a burger. Give me a steak. Like, give me some
Yeah.
good stuff. So
Yeah, it is unfortunate that the pizza, like the notoriously worst thing that Survivor makes, like that's the thing that they're going to have is this
right, like,
final.
Yeah.
it's like you're almost like, gosh, like, I wish I was voted out so I could have gotten my giant cheeseburger and
I
French
mean,
fries.
hell,
Yeah.
starvation is a good seasoning.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do think that like, that's where you should have your two parts. Have the
Mhm.
finale with
Exactly.
raw emotion in Fiji, and then the very next week have your live reunion for an hour where you
Yeah.
announce the winner, you bring out the family members, bring out the pre-merge,
Yeah.
and just like have at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you don't want to, if it's like a problem with like screen time of like booking like that extra hour on it, we got Paramount Plus. Like you can
Right.
put an extra,
Exactly.
you can put just the after show just up on Paramount Plus and say after, like at the end, like okay, if you want to see the live
'Cause all
reunion,
the
like
fans want
let
it. Like,
go over here and we
Exactly.
can and you can do it. Yeah, like it's
Jeff, all right, I'll take it over for Jeff. Give me the cast. I will host. I'll be the Rosie O'Donnell and I'll do the after show. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love just hearing like either people who like were hated by the community, like responding to that, or the people
Right.
who are
Yeah.
like fan favorites who and then you know they get to be on stage and get everyone to cheer for them. Like those are the moments that are actually the best
Cool.
parts of the after show, not
I agree.
dissecting the things that we have already seen and just recapping like remember this crazy moment, Andy, when
Yeah.
you blew up on day 3. I
Right.
remember that. Okay, Genevieve, wow, you played such a great game. Isn't that great? Wow, okay, Caroline, not much
Yeah.
about you. Move on. And then
Right.
Also, like
Yeah.
what they've been up to since
yeah,
then. Like,
Right.
since the island.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's also, I mean, it's crazy too because Jeff Probst's favorite moment is Boss Rob proposing to Amber at the
Right.
live reunion.
Mhm.
That's never happening in this current format. Is that will never happen?
Never have. I mean, unless they're gonna like whittle a ring out of wood or bamboo or something, but like, you're never gonna
Yeah,
get that.
and it's not even 39 days, so that's even less time. I
Right.
mean, this is we're getting into Love
26
is
days.
Blind kind of situation here.
Territory.
Yeah.
Maybe I can make that work. Anyway. No.
No, all in all, 47, or as Ryan will say, 40 several, was a great season. It's probably it goes
Agreed.
down as probably one of the best in the new era. I still have a soft spot and a love for 42. I think 42 is very highly ranked up there as well. Of course, 45.
Yeah.
47 definitely gave us kind of some things that we were seeing a little bit kind of teasing of old school, like the Survivor that we used to know.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, decent season, reunion and finale. Let's pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It was mid, yeah. But like at very least it was, I feel like, and I touched on and we touched on this like last episode because it was the last episode, obviously. But like I feel like it was a fantastic like episode last time. And this one was like, I felt like that one was the climax and this was like the falling resolution. But it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Part of me is wondering if there was like a network thing where they couldn't do 3 hours or something like that. Because it did seem like strange.
Yeah, I think it's just a Jeff Probst thing. He has a brilliant idea. And don't get me wrong, Jeff, if you're listening to this, I still want to come to Fiji. I love you.
Yeah.
But I think it was a Jeff Probst like, this is a brilliant. We're gonna break it up, and it's good. The fans are gonna love it, and then we're all sitting there like, God, Jeff, this is horrible.
Yeah, if it wasn't for like the day count and everything, I would have thought that might have been a potential final two, which hasn't been done in quite some time. But also,
Mhm.
I actually watched a video not too long ago about like the prospects of final two and why Survivor tries not to do that anymore. For a few reasons. One, because it's already a faster game. Two, in case one of them gets injured, which this was a fun thing. I think I watched it on Idled Out. But it was like in case something happens because after Aura slipped and almost like got medevaced being in final two, they were like, yeah, maybe we should do 3. Also, fan favorite to be there at the end,
Yeah.
more likely chance. But like I was thinking like maybe that's why they were doing it, but it turned out not to be the case. And I was like, even watching the video or the episode, I was like, are they going to pull something crazy like that? And they didn't. Which I
Yeah,
don't think is a bad thing, but it's like when you split it up that way, I think we expect a little more from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we'll never get a final two as long as forced fire making is a
No.
thing. I think as long as forced fire making is in the game, it'll always be a final three now. Um, Kristin, you did like a little bit of ranking of the new era seasons. I would like for us to do a little like rankings
The full
here.
one? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, do the full one. I don't know who wants to go first. I can go first if you guys want some time. Unless
Oh no, I already know. I've already ranked them.
okay,
I'll go last.
Kristen, you go for it.
Um, so I won't like shock everybody because they're gonna be all upset when I do this, but I would like to put 42 number one, but I will not. It's only my soft spot. I will say that 47 is probably in the number one slot after the season. Um, and then I will probably put 42 there in second, just because I can't put them in first.
Mhm,
And then 45. And then here's where it gets dicey because I'm not really a fan of the rest of them.
mhm,
Um, I will say, um, if we're looking at this as a whole, and this is where I did rank them, it's not just like winners, it's not just like how it ended or anything. It's probably the season as a whole. And this is going to be controversial, so sorry everyone. 43
I
is
like
in there.
43.
And then I will say 46, and then probably 44, and then 41.
I think that's fair.
So
Nice.
I like to be the controversial one where they're like 43. Oh my God, it was so horrible. Listen, it was because of Noel. Like that's why
Yeah,
it's there. So
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
How
43
dare
is
you
it.
have opinion,
I know, how
Kristen?
dare I?
We
Gosh.
invite you on your
Yeah,
show to share your opinion, and how dare you share it?
yeah.
That's
I
okay. No, most you're gonna get comments like, "Don't have her back."
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I love 43. I think it's actually a good season, but just the ending that just makes people go like, "Huh, what?" But
I
like, if you,
yeah,
but the actual like content in the
Yeah.
middle of 43 is actually really good.
I
Well,
like
and again,
40.
this goes back to edits too, though. Like, I mean, we
Uh,
had Gabler come on and at a finale of Vanquish, and that man talked, and he talked to every single person and learned something about them and brought up and we sat there at the end of this half an hour that we didn't expect for it to be a half an hour, going, "This is exactly why Gabler won," and we didn't see
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
he's
So,
cool.
like, yeah, I again, the edits don't always help a season, but yeah, that's my
yeah,
controversial stuff.
okay,
All right. Um, Joe, you next, because I'm still kind of like ironing out what I want to say.
okay. My favorite New Era season. I loved 45. I think that 45 was like I think that that season actually was the thing that like is reinvigorating the New Era of giving it some new life. I think Emily Flippin is a great player, a great character. I love D as a winner. I think D played a great game. Like honestly, like it's a very stacked cast. I think in terms of like people who I want to see come on for season 50. Caleb with the the shot in the dark first time, probably the only time it'll work because I could see also by the time we get to season 50 them axing that. So
Oh, please,
uh
yeah.
and then I'll put 47 as my number 2 season. I think 47 was good. Then I'll go 46. I think it was just chaotic and crazy and sometimes that's just fun. Then I go 43. Enjoy that season. 44 was the Tika show. Those three were great, but they were the kind of the whole season. And then my issues with 42 is less about the cast and more that we still have the hourglass and the do or die twist.
I
Yeah,
listen, I know, I hate it too. Don't get me
that's fair.
wrong. It's and I 100% agree with that. Like the
Yeah.
hourglass, I cannot. I hated it so much. But for it's see, I think the bigger thing for me is especially knowing these people outside of it.
Yeah.
42 was the only cast that the cast that we saw on Survivor are who they are in real life. So I think that
Mhm.
kind of to see that correlate allows 42 to be a little bit higher for me.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I mean, it's not as bad as 41. It was an improvement of 41.
Yeah,
41 is a bottom five
Um,
season.
poor 41. They
with
tried
Jeff
Yeah,
so
Poole.
hard.
I feel bad because there are some like players from there that would be great to like see
Yeah,
again, but I feel like the season is just like so disliked that there's a chance that we don't see people come from the season.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool people from 41. One of my favorite players of the new era is from 41. Um, so my ranking, 40
Just
several will
he just
be
like says my favorite one is from
Yeah,
41.
and then
Nothing.
he's not going to tell
He's like, oh,
us.
it's
no
okay. You don't
one of
need
my
to know.
favorite, Danny McRae.
There
Danny
we go.
McRae.
All right,
Yeah.
name drop and then get into your rankings.
All right.
The whole audience, like, they're like, okay, what?
Some of the
Oh,
audience
no,
already
we're
knows,
not.
but yes, I should probably reiterate. But
Can you
all
imagine
right.
being somebody that's watching this and he's like, one of my favorite players from the new era is on 41.
Yeah.
So back to my rankings. And
Yeah.
then the audience is like sitting here like,
They might,
what?
you
I
know
got
me.
you, audience. I've got you. You're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So 40 several would be number one for me. I don't know if that's just recency bias, but also I feel like consistently, except for maybe the split finale, I've been really enjoying it. I think it's been solid all the way through. Second is 45 for cast for like I feel like over kind of like in the same vein of 47, I feel consistent overall after the quitters left. After that part, even how the quitters went, it was still like a little like entertaining, but still like after that all happened, it was entertaining to watch. And yes, Emily Flippin. I relate to Jake O'Kane. I think Dee is a strong winner. And there's more I can go into that. After that, 46 for the memes. You know, I love me rocking the Q skirt.
Hmm.
I reference Jelensky all the time. I still feel like there needs to be an edit of the movie Seven called Several, and Jelensky is Brad Pitt's character. uh, but yeah, I love it for the memes and like how crazy that season was. Uh, then I'll go 43 because I think everything that happened there was good. And I think one thing that puts it over 42 is actually Gabler. It's not necessarily because he won. It's just that like both my parents are vets, and the fact that he donated to veterans causes is something where I'm like, that's a personal thing that elevates it a little bit more for me. Then 42, I think solid cast. Yeah, has some of the like the hourglass stuff, but I really enjoyed the cast, and I feel like okay, they were starting to find their footing with the new era in that one. Um, then 44 because it was pretty much the, Tika show. Still had some good highlights. I think the cast we did see, and I think it is, but like, it was mostly Tika. And like, well, I want to see more. I don't like lopsided edits like that. And then 41 is at the bottom because it was just kind of like they tried to do too much, not even with
Yeah.
just the advantages. We had Jeff Poole. I didn't like Jeff Poole as much. I'm like, you're not Deadpool. And then like them going throughout a challenge and then wanting to do for their online game, purposely, let's transition over here so we can see this one puzzle for a game that online game that not many people are even going to do. I don't even know if that site's still up. So like rewatching it, it's still even jarring. It's like, come on. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I'd rank it.
Yeah.
I'm throwing this out there that Abe will never forgive me for putting 41 at the bottom, and you guys are coming down with me. So I'm just saying,
I
Abe is
haven't.
gonna be so mad. So Abe, I hope
Listen,
you never see this.
I like
you can't be mad at us because this is like the community sentiment for everyone. I think is
I'm just
41.
saying, Abe, please don't watch this.
Yeah. I
Abe,
think
I
what's
think you as a player are awesome, and you got
yeah,
shafted in 41. And I feel like if you
yeah.
stayed, it probably would have elevated it.
Exactly, exactly. Interesting to note out of this, though, I believe that the 90-minute episodes are all in our top three. So if that's the case, I mean, it's a clear
Not
dub.
Kristen's.
It's not Kristen's. Was 46
42,
4.
42 is
He
number
doesn't
two.
Oh
like
yeah, that's
40s.
right, 42. I
I
you know.
ruined it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, besides the
You're fine. You're
outlier that is
fine.
Kristen's opinions of 42, we
Oh,
I don't even think they're wrong either, because I think
Yeah.
42 is a good season. It's just everyone has their own thing about what they like, but
Yeah.
that's the thing about opinions. We and sometimes we just value different things. And like even you and I agreed that we both like 46 at like 3, but you liked it for the chaos. I loved it for the memes. Um
And
that's
I put
not only
46
that.
at like at the bottom with 41.
Yeah.
Second to last.
I told you I have all the horrible opinions. It's fine.
You're fine.
I will say, if you show a new Survivor player, or not player, but fan, these new 90-minute episodes, and then try to get them to see older seasons, even the great ones like Cagayan, they're actually so they feel it goes too fast. They're like, wow, it just happened so quick because it doesn't have that extra, little bit of time to build out the characters. Yeah, like my friends, they did not like Cagayan because they had watched 45 first and liked the pacing of 45. So then when they
Why are you
jumped,
starting them off on New Era, Joe? That was your mistake number one. You never start them off on New Era. You got to start
they
them off on it's good.
they insisted on watching an episode with me, and then they got hooked onto the episodes, and then
Gotcha.
they
All right. Well,
wanted
then
to
you're off
just
the hook.
watch. Yeah.
No, it's
uh,
like anytime I get somebody that's like, "Oh, I forgot that show is still on. Like, where should I start?" And I'm like, "Don't touch anything after 40
yeah,
for a while." Um, I'll stop being a hater. It's fine. I'll stop being a hater eventually. Maybe when Jeff calls me, I'll stop being a hater.
yeah. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
new era is interesting, like in terms of if you are. I think if you're getting into it, it almost feels like it's fine. Like you don't notice any of the missing stuff, and so you kind of like,
Yeah.
and so like it should be like you go back and you're like, wow, look at what Survivor could have been or like was. But because now we're kind of getting more screen time from all these players, I feel like
Yeah.
now, I think a lot of the modern
Yeah.
Survivor like watchers are really going to be more like attuned to this new 90-minute format, as opposed to the 44 seasons prior.
I also want to bring this up because we are recording this the day that Beast Games came out. Or the first 2 episodes. Shout out to Ryan Reed. Robbed.
Don't give him any more props. His head's already big enough, all right?
Well, no, he was one of the first people eliminated. I think
I know it was.
he went down to earth pretty fast when he got ejected. But anyway, no, sorry. Anyway, but I feel like another thing is I do wonder with like Gen Z / Gen Alpha if reality competition shows, because of like Mr. Beast like doing that on his channel for a while and now having his own reality competition show, if that is going to bring a new audience to Survivor as well. And like obviously they might start watching more of the modern stuff. Because also I'll admit sometimes when you watch some of the old stuff, you're like, obviously they say some shit that's not okay. But like, like that also might be like, oh, a new season of Survivor is about to come on. Maybe I start watching that. I know, one of the things that got re-sparked my interest in like trying to watch Survivor was like Total Drama. And so like that kind of like really helped that generation, my generation, get into like Survivor more. So I do wonder if like Beast Games and stuff like that, if there might be a resurgence of like the reality comp stuff. Because like obviously it has its niche, but because someone as big as Mr. Beast made his own, I wonder if that might bring more people in.
I think most certainly. I mean, unless of course you have like amazing parents like myself that start your kids on Survivor and make them watch with
Mhm.
you weekly, like I did. But
Uh,
no, I mean that is the thing. Like Mr. Like I'm not a fan. Like not a fan. My kids watch them all the time, and it's like it's either I'm getting Mr. Beast on or I'm like waking up from a nap or something, and Ryan Wayne is on my. I can't. I'm like, no. It's like a
You
nightmare.
can't escape.
What do I do? It's like a nightmare coming through my TV. It's either Mr. Beast or Ryan Wayne, and I'm like, guys, can we turn on something else? You know he's loving every moment of it. I gotta give it to him.
yeah.
It's funny because literally when you were playing Big Brother Vanquish, there was a moment where I thought all of us were taking naps, and apparently I was the only one. And I woke up and I'm like, oh God, it's Ryan Wayne. I can hear his voice. And I like turn over and I see you're on the screen and I like took a picture and I sent it to the mod chat. I was like, can we start Big Brother Vanquish early so I can just just put them all together, a Ryan Wayne moment all together.
uh,
That's definitely a lot of Ryan. For not many people can survive that much Ryan.
Yeah. But back to like the Mr. Beast stuff. I mean, I think that there is definitely going to be a pretty big insurgence in terms of like people watching reality TV. I think that it's going back up. I if you also like look at like the TV ratings, like 41, huge dip. It like honestly, like I'm sorry, Abraham, but 41 definitely was like it hurt Survivor in terms of like how many people were watching, and like these other seasons have like been slowly trying to like find things to like manage to get people back in, and I think that we're starting to hit that rhythm. It almost feels like 41 through 44 to me it feels like the dark era, the dark ages of Survivor, of the 21 to 24, and now we're like 45 was the Philippines, and it's like, oh wow, we're getting kind of like we're getting a bit of a resurgence.
Actually, I'm agreeing with this, Joe. This is so
true. Like history is repeating itself.
It's like those numbers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Sexy.
So yeah, no, I think that we're definitely in for it. I mean, if that's the case, next season 48, they're going to be like Coggy It's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be top 3 season at least. But yeah, no, I'm excited to move on. I'm excited to get my rankings and my fantasy draft and do better than Ryan. I gotta redeem myself.
You do need to redeem yourself. I hope it's more even, because we haven't really had an even draft in quite some time.
Yeah, even when you win, it's because you pick like someone like 5th or 6th, and then like everyone else of yours gets taken out, and then you have like this just random person that ends up doing it.
Hanging on.
But no. But yeah. All right. Since it is near the end, since it is the end of like the season, all right. If you were to choose top 3 players from this season, who would they be?
From this season?
Yes.
Probably Genevieve, Rachel, Kyle.
Solid choices.
Yeah, solid choices, except you're missing one glaring person that absolutely needed to be drafted in this top 3, and that is Andy.
He's all yours. He's all yours.
Andy.
There you go, Joe. He's yours.
Yeah, I give Andy an honorable mention. I would say for me, it's close to Kristin's list. Genevieve, Rachel, and then Soul. I feel like Soul, especially when he started getting more of that screen time, and especially the comedy duo that is him and Rome.
Yeah, but that's Rome did a lot. Like Soul didn't even pass the Banu bar. He was at 33 like, confessionals.
Even though Soul didn't pass the Banu bar, he was still entertaining. We all like it. We're still looking at him. We're looking at his drip.
But like you have to. I mean, without Soul, we don't have the winner. So
exactly,
Soul did decide the season. The most important decision, even though really it's a no-brainer based off of how the draw happened. Like clearly he's gonna give it to the one Gata member compared to the two Qs. But no, I mean for me, it's Andy, Genevieve, and Rachel. I think those are the 3 people who just I think did the most. My problem, Kristin, with Kyle is that a lot of his immunity wins were like they would split people apart, and one of them was like he won immunity but got 3rd place in it, and it was just kind of like, it was fine, but it wasn't
the immunity wins for Kyle. It's just you can tell that Kyle's like just a very down to earth, humble kind of person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm totally wrong. He could be totally like masking for sure.
Yeah.
But
I don't think so.
I just feel like Kyle's one of those people that is like just a genuine kind soul that if I was out on the island, I would be very drawn to a Kyle.
Yeah.
I would be wanting to vote a guy like Kyle. I want the opposite. I want
I
people who are cutthroats and
Listen,
they're taking
I'm a
names.
huge villain. I need somebody soft and nice to like help me.
I would work with him, but I would understand he would probably go before me, or I'm like he would be like a shield, but he'd be a shield that I'd love. He'd be like a shield that I would polish. Okay, that's getting into weird territory. Shit. Not like that.
Kyle,
No,
don't
like,
watch this
he
either.
would be like he might. You never know.
He's like
You
restraining
know
order
you
against
know the story of
Ryan.
how Emily Flippin has seen our channel. So like you know that
Yeah,
story. But
yes.
so you never know who's watching. But like in the sense of like I like having like a strong ally who's also like a good person. I think it's cool to play it like that. And if they're more of a threat than me, that's not like that bad of a thing either.
Yeah, I just think Andy needs all the credit. He's on the Mount Rushmore of new
Okay,
era.
Okay,
Joe.
you're
Okay.
being a little too
Of
generous.
new era, not of all
You're
time.
Sit
still being
down.
a little
Sit
bit too.
down, Joe.
He was great. Operation Italy is one of the best moves in the new era.
I mean,
I
with this,
agree with you, but I don't know. I don't know if recency bias plays a factor into your love of Andy, but uh, yeah. All right. With that being said, it is time for the final confessional counts because we value screen time on this channel.
you don't say.
Yeah. Since it's the finale, everything is total. We're gonna do almost like a recap of the
Of
season
everything.
of everyone from the season. So the least amount of confessionals, no shocker. First boot and John still having 9 confessionals though, so like going out a lot of numbers there. Next up, at 17th we have Kashan at 10 confessionals. Then 16th, we got TK at 12 confessionals. 12 confessionals there. And then 15, it looks like we got Tiana at 19 confessionals.
Wait,
Next
you
up,
said 15 for someone.
No, like 15th place.
yeah, that was their
Oh, 15.
placement.
Oh, okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. So there's Tiana. Next up, we got Aisha with 20 confessionals. 20
Not too bad
confessionals.
for third boot.
Yeah, exactly.
Third boot. Yeah.
And then next up, we got Sierra with 22 confessionals. And then next up, we got Soul with 33 confessionals. So pretty big jump there. And then next up, oh wait, actually, my bad. Kyle is at 29. So go back. He's right behind Soul with 33 here.
He's number one
Under
in
the
my heart.
bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, where does Annika here?
Oh, my bad. She is at 14. Sorry, these are not based off. I'm kind of just looking through the numbers here. So Onyx at
Joe
14.
did not prepare
I have
Joe,
the
you gotta write these
confessionals.
things out.
I'm not doing that.
Joe made a mistake.
So
I
yeah,
was gonna say, I'm like, Annika did not get that good of an edit. Like, come
yeah,
on.
Annika has 70 confessionals.
Several T.
Several C. Okay, so yeah, Soul 33. Then we got Caroline with 35 confessionals. Then we got Rome with 38. So Rome doing it.
That was too much of confessionals for him.
And then it looks like the next number of confessionals here is Gabe with 52 confessionals. So
Not too shabby.
Pretty good there. Then we got Sue with 54 confessionals. Yeah, unfortunate.
Wait. Fun fact. That's her age backwards.
Correct.
I wonder if that was just a happy coincidence or someone in the editing room was like,
They're like, we're cutting this confessional.
And And then next up, it looks like we got Genevieve with 62 confessionals.
Nice.
62 confessionals. Then we got Andy and Teeny are tied at 70 confessionals each. And then next up we got Rachel with 86, and then Sam has the most with 93.
Jesus,
Go
93.
Sam. At least he won something. Good job, Sam.
Wait, is that the record?
It's not record. I did look up. There are a few more, but he is one of the highest confessional getters. I know Rachel has now the record for most confessionals of a woman. She beats Kelly Wigglesworth record for that. Which Borneo has like a lot of confessionals. Like they did not know how to edit Survivor yet, so they just threw a bunch of random stuff in that. It almost has like the same amount of confessionals as these 90-minute episodes that we're getting in Modern Survivor, like in terms of the confessional count. So Borneo is now finally kind of like losing. There's going to be contenders coming in here for them, and but yeah, no. I was just thinking like the entire time. Sam just felt like he was getting a second place edit to me. He like they clearly wanted to show us a lot of stuff, but he was never like the one that the story was actually about. If he was in stories, it was always as he said, the glue guy. Like he was just kind of there to make things happen, but it wasn't. It didn't feel like that was really the narrative kind of driving the season. Whereas Rachel clearly had once she got the thing from Soul, it was off to the races for her edits.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, that I think that does it here. Is there anything else either of you have on this season or the new era as a whole?
No. I mean, Kristin?
No, I mean, I think we touched on, pretty much all of it when I don't think we actually intended to do, but it kind of just flowed that way. So
we had to do more because, like, obviously,
there's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
exactly. We had to fill in the runtime.
Yeah, we knew the conclusion last week, but here we are.
Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, but I mean, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, Kristin, if you want to give any more plugs for Vanquish here, like please do. Where to apply for this new season.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. Go to the Vanquish page, Instagram or Facebook, and find the application, 13th season. It's gonna be a good one. I'm very, very excited for this one and this theme. With that, I'm not gonna give too much away for 2025. I'm gonna be doing a live, so you'll be able to catch those on Instagram and Facebook here in the next couple days. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff in store for 2025. That's all I'll say. That will be the teaser.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Pirate Terror play 25 more times.
Definitely not happening. Definitely not happening.
Ryan winning BB All Stars.
I mean, that might be happening. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yay! See, it might happen, y'all. Anyway.
I have to say that, or you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I could never play again." You have to like boost the ego a little bit to keep you guys playing.
Yeah, that's fair. Anywho, when it comes to
it's sometimes more fun to lose. You never know. It's.
I mean, like, I've lost, and like even like I would say that BB Vanquish, and that's even after doing Hellscape and coming and having a higher placement. BB Vanquish is still my favorite game that I played. So, I mean, yeah. I do have one question. As some of you may know, I went to Over the Edge Reality a couple weeks ago with Kristin. Is there any news for something like that in 2025, or is it too early?
No, it's already planned. It's
all right, cool.
I'm sure will probably be announced. I would block out that first weekend of December.
Block out. You heard it, not necessarily here first, but you heard it on our channel.
It's not official or anything, but I would say it's a safe bet to probably plan on your vacation, put it in your little work schedule right now for next first week of December.
Yes.
Now watch it completely change and I look like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
It happens. We understand. Like,
yeah.
It happens more than once. Where's Shane when I need him to correct all my mistakes?
Yeah, it's like a wrestling. The card is subject to change. Like it's placed here, but it doesn't mean it's
No,
going
I
to
mean
happen.
the event is here to stay.
It's
It
the
is not
Marvel
Yeah,
going.
release date
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah,
over that Celebrity
Yeah.
Weekend is here to stay. So it's
Nice,
definitely
nice.
yeah. Nice, nice. Well, yeah, everyone definitely check out Vanquish, check out Over the Edge this upcoming year, and yeah, thank you everyone for watching and staying tuned for this whole season of Survivor. We got a bunch of new content that we're kind of already in the works that we're really excited
Mhm.
about, and can't wait to show you all later. And yeah, we will see you all in the next one.
Wait, Joe,
Oh,
Joe. We have to plug one of those things. If you haven't already applied,
yes.
apply for season 2 of the Day After Orgs, where this will be a survivor game, and the theme is Casino Royale. So if you really enjoyed our first one where Kristin dominated and played one of the
Kudos.
greatest Sandra. You may have lost, but you played one of the best.
How did this
You
happen,
played
Joe?
one of the best Sandra games ever. Where we had a lot of fun. We had a great cast, crazy twist. If that looked like fun, you want to try, apply. Yeah, so we'll have the
Yep.
application also listed here. Please
Yep.
apply.
Yep, it's going to be bigger and better than the first one, and definitely
Can't
something
happen. I won't
that's
be there.
yeah. Well, also if
You,
everyone
you've
apply,
left
if
some.
you
You definitely left some big shoes to fill.
yeah
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Yes, I
Everyone
can.
needs to apply, get on the season, become an all-star so that you can play with Kristen here. Because Kristen,
And
you
listen,
know,
they're all gonna come for me from the get go, and I'll just be sitting in my Kristen shack, and I'll
yeah,
still get there.
and you'll dominate the game, and hopefully
Mhm.
this time you get jury votes.
I know, little jerks. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, now for this time for real, we will see you all in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.